guys, what's up and welcome back to this YouTube channel. It's your guy Igor here. Canada is closing its doors to temporary foreign workers. They are closing this program, canceling it out completely. So if you're a foreign worker and you want to come to Canada, well, this video is for you. Be ready for the program to be cancelled. Now, that's people are telling me right now. They're texting me that there is a petition that somebody started, and a lot of people are signing it right now to cancel the temporary foreign worker program. I mean, isn't it stupid, guys? I know personally. I know an immigration lawyer consultant that is going out of business because Canada is shutting its doors, and the person cannot feed the family now because there's not enough immigration files. That's how bad things are. And are they going to actually cancel this program? Okay, guys, before I tell you the details on that program, I'll also leave a link for this program in the description of this video so you can go in and read that petition yourself if you think that you want to support it. Now, number one reason is unemployment month use. So they're saying that people from 15 to 24 years of age in Canada cannot get a Tim Hortons job. Yeah, I'm not even freaking joking. They actually say that young Canadians, immigrants took away all the Tim Hortons jobs. Now, I don't know, guys. If you are studying right now in the Canadian school and you have friends, ask them around and ask them on your graduation, do you want to be a Tim Hortons employee? I would really want to hear that. Now, next part about it, they are saying that foreign workers, like United Nations, are saying that temporary workers are treated as slaves. Now, guys, that's crazy. But what do you know what about United Nations? They're saying that that's happening in Canada, and they have big concerns. But I'll tell you, I have been concerned with United Nations. It's one of the most useless organizations that exists, because when the war started in Ukraine, they did nothing besides bringing up concern. And the thing they only can do is bring up concerns, and nobody really gives a damn about any of their concerns, because there is nothing they can do but bring up their concerns to everything, and they bring concerns for anything. And also in this United Nations organization, there are, countries that don't really like Canada, such countries as, I would say, China and India, where a lot of talented people who live in those countries for a better life in Canada through temporary foreign worker as well programs. So of course they're pissed off and they want to put some stain on Canada's reputation. But besides that, if you look, there is a Marina Dosa restaurant in Calgary. About 2 days ago there is an article. I don't know how true it is. I'll leave you a description of this video to read the article for yourself, but it looks legit. It looks like they are charged by court for defrauding foreign workers. So basically bringing people to Canada, offering them some prospective or employment opportunities, taking tens of thousands of dollars, and then not delivering on that, breaking down the immigration legislation, labor laws, and other things. And they were charged. There are 3 owners. There is a list of 3 owners of that restaurant. Now, myself, I was shocked to see that one of my, they have really good dosas. My wife is, she's from Mumbai, but her parents is originally from South India. So I love dosas, and I went to that restaurant many times in northeast of Calgary. I think they have multiple locations and it's great, and they have very nice food. Besides that, I was shocked to see that article. I'll leave it in the description of this video. So there are some cases, there are some cases, I guess, that are happening in Canada. And to be honest with you, I had an employer who also took advantage of me when I was working in Canada, guys, because I'll tell you, when my employer figured out, I'll do off track of the video for a second. My personal story, quick, short one. When my employer signed my provincial paperwork for immigration, now I immigrated through federal program, but when my employer signed my provincial paperwork, he knew that he signed my provincial he knew that. He was even, I remember after some work time, he was drinking some beer at the office, and he was like, yeah, Igor, you know what, there is no way you're going to stay in Canada. They're going to effing deport you. They're going to deport you. Something like that attitude he had. I was like, no, I'm going to stay. I'll find a way, and stuff like that. I'll figure it out. And when he signed the paperwork for provincial thing, all of a sudden I was demanded to work more overtime, for which I was not getting paid because it was put as a bank hours and not in 1.5 times rate. Then I was forced to take days off, like literally you're driving to work and he would call you, yeah, don't come in today, stay home, stuff like that. And I had to fight back many times, but it was stressful. I was getting paid less money than other people who I was training, who were Canadian born as a foreign worker, because he figured out that I cannot quit. If I quit, my line in immigration queue goes back, so I have to stay there. So all of a sudden I was overloaded by responsibilities. I was the project manager, I was the cleaner, I was the forklift driver, I was like everything that whatever job you can find, including up to installation of the fireplaces, in addition to whatever my employment letter said. So whatever my employment letter said, and then, well, knowing that you cannot leave, that guy started taking advantage of me. Luckily, I went and applied through express entry, and I got my immigration done sooner. Otherwise, I would be staying there for another extra year, and I would be fully taken advantage of. But let's keep it real. It was still better conditions of employment than back home than in Ukraine, where I was born at, where I was working for way less money, and I was working more. So I would say that still it was better. But yes, I was taken advantage of by Canadian standards. It was very unfair by Canadian standards. When you have a job and all of a sudden, your project manager goes away and you get his job, and all of a sudden your boss is like, well, I'm going to save up money on cleaners, so you become a cleaner as well for the company, so you get an extra job now, and then the employee installer calls in sick. Now you're a project manager, coordinator, material coordinator, warehousing guy. Now you also become an installer, and you have to manage all of your responsibilities, and it doesn't matter how you do that. So all of a sudden you start taking 3-4 different roles for the less money than anybody else who is starting the company, including people you have to train to. So yeah, there was this kind of things. Was it unfair? It's unfair. What would I do right now if something like this was going on? I would just walk out through the door. But when you're a foreign worker, you don't have a choice. I mean, first of all, you're worried, you don't know what your rights are, you're new to the country, you are scared, and you cannot really just walk out and go somewhere. So yeah, I was also taken advantage of. I'm not going to be specifying what the employer name or anything. I don't want to be ruining people's reputation, but yeah, it does happen. It happened to me and my friends. I also knew that work. I knew 2 guys from Punjab who were working at another employer as well, and they were also they were in a worse situation than me, because they were made more. The employer took more advantage of them by even paying them less than I was. Luckily, my employer was a Canadian guy who was not skillful in screwing people up. So he did screw me up a little bit, but not up to the mark like other people who got screwed up by their own people from their own country. So it was a little bit better. I was blessed that way. But there was an advantage taken of me as well as a foreign worker. So it's true. I wouldn't call it a slavery. You know what I would call slavery? It's in the United States, H-1B visa. Now that's a slavery, where you have to work for an employer and wait, if you're from India, for like 20 years to get your permanent residency. Now that is a slavery. Canada, don't put that stain on Canada. It's a great freaking country, and despite the entire situation of being taken advantage of, people come to me right now, they're like, I want to be successful like you, Igor, and everything, and people don't remember. Go back on this channel when I was driving for Uber. Go back on this channel where I was going through struggles. It's been 8 years. I've literally documented my entire life in Canada, almost entire life in Canada on this channel, and a lot of people are like, well, what do you think? What do you think that? What do you think? Guys, I went through a lot of things. It's not an overnight success. I'm actually proud of people who are new immigrants to Canada right now, who are getting their stuff done within 2 years. Anyways, what is foreign workers? Why is the problem for them? I went off track, sorry about that. A lot of people who are coming from Ukraine right now on a refugee visa, they are foreign workers. A lot of people coming from Israel, they are foreign workers. A lot of people coming from other countries, I think from South Africa, there are terrible things going on there right now, also come as foreign workers. So he's kind of going to cancel it. What are the implications? Well, number one, guys, let me show you this cool house. Check this out. Guys, how much do you think that house is worth? This old, what is it, 1978 or something like that house? What do you think is something like that? What do you think the price of that house is? It was just sold for $1.9 million. Bam, bam, Calgary, guys. Unexpected, right? 2,500 square feet, not bad. I was looking at it in the market and it got sold. Anyways, no, I didn't want to buy it for myself, but I just checked it out. Anyways, I want to tell you something. If they cancel foreign workers, it's going to be actually pretty bad because Canadian employers wouldn't be able to bring in qualified people that they can find in Canada. It would squeeze out the housing market. It would really collapse the entire housing market. I know a lot of you are waiting for it to finally crash. This entire so-called Ponzi scheme, how people like to call it. You know, because a lot of foreign workers are actually the ones who are renting from investors. And investors are in Canada, most of them are just moms and dads who saved up enough money to buy a home and put it somewhere for rent so that somebody else pays off their mortgage, just like I do right now. So it would be a terrible thing if that happens. Right now, my home is rented out by a Canadian family and by an international student from Pakistan as well. So, and I also have my other property is rented out by a family from UK who came here on an exchange visa, youth exchange visa, as a foreign worker visa as well. So I'm just telling you guys, if those guys wouldn't be here, I wouldn't be able to pay my mortgage payments if they were not renting my property. So that would be pretty bad as well. So it's pretty bad. I don't think they're going to be canceling it. And I would say, guys, yes, it's a big news, but don't forget, liberals are in power. They are the ones who love spiking up immigration. And even though conservatives are the ones who started that petition, from what I was told, it does look like it's going to go through. But if you want, you can go ahead and sign it. I don't think whether it's going to do something or not, but the news is going on, people's panic is going on, and people ask me, oh, is Canada going to cancel it? And I'll tell you that if they do cancel it, a temporary foreign worker program, that would be really bad for Canadian economy. That would be a disaster for Canadian economy if they cancel a temporary foreign worker program, because that will just hit the economy hard. You know, it's not like canceling international students, it's canceling workers that are needed by companies. Anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching. Looking forward to reading your comments and what you think. And yeah, I don't honestly, guys, I don't like saying negative things about my own past, like being taken advantage of international student. But if it's true, it's true. There's lots of stuff that we had to go as international students and temporary foreign workers. And honestly, guys, you think that when an employer knows that you're not allowed to quit, especially a business owner knows you're not allowed to quit, and they can ask you to do overtime and other things because they signed the paperwork, you think they're not going to take advantage? Of course they're tempted. And they did take advantage of me. And that's all right. It was experience as well. At least at that time, I built enough Canadian experience to go and find jobs in better companies. And once I got my immigration done, I was able to walk out, and I was tough like a nut. See you in the next video. Bye for now.